The Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Bill 2026 is one of the key bills on government's agenda for the ongoing monsoon session of the Parliament. Even before being debated, the bill has generated intense discussions across the political circles, civil society organizations, and the media. But before forming an opinion about its merits and demerits, we need to understand three simple questions. What exactly is the FCRA? Why does India have such a law? And what are the changes that are being introduced by the 2026 Amendment Bill? Hi everyone, this is Shubhi and welcome to Shubhi Speaks. FCRA stands for Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Simply put, it is the law that regulates how the foreign funds are received and utilized in India. It primarily applies to NGOs, charitable trusts, research organizations, educational institutes, and religious organizations that receive foreign funding. But why should the foreign donations be regulated at all? The original FCRA was enacted in 1976 during the emergency, in order to regulate the foreign funding and ensure that they didn't compromise India's sovereignty and national interests. Also, India is not unique in regulating the foreign influence. Countries like the United States have Foreign Agents Registration Act. Australia have Foreign Influence Transparency Scheme, and the United Kingdom has Foreign Influence Registration Scheme. The FCRA was comprehensively replaced in 2010, introducing a 5-year registration cycle and stronger compliance requirements. Then in 2020, the Parliament tightened the framework even further. Administrative expenses were capped at 20% of foreign contributions. Subgranting of foreign funds to other NGOs was prohibited, and every organization was to receive foreign fundings through a designated SBI branch in New Delhi. Now, in 2026, the Parliament is considering another major overhaul. The 2026 reforms makes changes in 5 broader areas. An important reform is that the FCRA registration becomes more purpose-specific and state-specific. Instead of operating under a broad registration, the organizations will have to declare the nature of their activities, such as education, healthcare, social, religious work, etc., and indicate the states or union territories in which they intend to operate. The existing organizations will be given a transition period of 1 year to update these changes. According to the government, this is intended to improve the regulatory clarity and monitoring. Another significant change relates to license renewal. The amended rules introduce the reasonable activity requirement. To renew its FCRA license, the organizations are required to spend at least Rs 10 lakh of foreign contributions over the previous 2 financial years. Interestingly, spending domestic money does not count towards this threshold. The government's aim is to ensure that organizations receiving foreign money are genuinely carrying out the foreign funded work, rather than remaining registered only on the paper. The new rules also significantly expand the disclosure requirements. First, organizations will have to provide more transparency about their foreign donors. Second, NGOs will have to give a more detailed report on how the foreign contributions are being spent, including the project-wise and geography-wise utilization details. The prohibition on transferring foreign funds to other NGOs also continues. Third, disclosure requirements for key functionaries has become more extensive. Key office bearers, including the director, trustee, CEO, and other persons exercising the operational control, have to provide the identity documents as specified in the law. They are also required to provide the official websites, social media handles, and publications associated with them. According to the government, this is done to increase the traceability and transparency of the organizations receiving the foreign funds. Many foreign donors don't release the entire grant at once. Instead, they provide funds in multiple installments. According to the amended rules, before an organization receives the next installment, it must demonstrate that at least 75% of funds of the previous installments has been utilized in the declared purpose. According to the government, this is done to prevent fund parking, where foreign money remains idle in bank accounts instead of carrying out the intended project. The bill proposes the creation of a designated authority. Instead of foreign funded assets remaining in legal uncertainty when the organization's FCRA license is cancelled, surrendered, or automatically ceases because it is not renewed, then the assets would come under the management of this authority, who would deal with them according to the provisions of the law. The bill also provides mechanism for the review and appeal against the decisions of the designated authority. According to the government, these reforms will strengthen transparency, accountability, and national security. It also argues that this will reduce the misuse of foreign contributions, improve traceability of funds, prevent shell or inactive organizations from retaining licenses, discourage fund parking, and ensure that the assets created using foreign funds do not remain in legal limbo. On the other hand, several NGOs, civil society organizations, and legal experts have expressed concerns. They argue that increased compliance burden could be difficult for smaller organizations with limited resources. Some even pointed out that increased disclosure requirements and tighter administrative controls could increase the regulatory burden on genuine organizations. Now, whether these changes strengthen transparency or impose greater regulatory burden is a matter of ongoing public and parliamentary debate. But one thing is certain: understanding the law is the first step towards forming an informed opinion. What do you think? Do let me know your views in the comments. If this video added value, consider liking the video and subscribing to Shubhi Speaks.